So this week I've netted $1.3 thousand, 100% win rate. Average win-loss trade was $83.20. And it looks like the bulk of my profit came from November 21st, which was the day after Nvidia's earning. So here's how it looks like for the month of November. Let's go ahead and zoom in on November 21st. So here are the transactions that resulted in $973 plus profit on November 21st. I have some money that came from NVDX call options. Because Nvidia went up and down throughout the day, the call options loses value. I was able to close that out, and I made about $130, $140. I've also flipped SoundHound, resulted in $30. AVL is the leverage ETF for Broadcom. I made $1.94, which is a really low profit. The reason why I closed this out was because there were better opportunities, Even though if I had waited longer, I could have probably made more. But I felt like there were so many great opportunities on this day. I wanted to close it out. I've also closed out my TSMX, is the leverage ETF for the Taiwanese semiconductor. So I've netted $14.62. And my bread and butter for November 21st is this NVDX trade. Really based on Nvidia earnings. I expected them to do well, and I was right. Netted $770. Now, this amount is okay. It's not the full amount that I could have maximized. But hey, profit is profit, right? So the first week of November, I made $262. That's okay. It's only one day for November. That's the reason why numbers are low. The second week, I had some losses. So on the second week, I netted over $1,000. Third week, I've accumulated over $655. Week number 4, I've accumulated over $1.3 thousand. And there's still one more week of November left. Although it's a Thanksgiving week, I just don't know how much activities can we expect from the stock market. So I'm not really expecting to make much. Right now, the goal is to try to make over $4,000 by the end of November. We'll see if it can happen. If not, I'm fine with the money I made so far. Comparing to last month, it appears I'm already up. On October, I had some losses, so that took my profit down to $2,000. Comparing to November, I'm not planning to take any losses in November. So I expect this month to exceed October. Let's go ahead and look at some of the reports Tradezella has to offer. And this is the main reason why that I pay money for Tradezella. They are probably the best at analytics for stock trading. So let's look at, days. And again, I have a filter based on this week. And this will tell us which days did I perform the best within the past week. Thursday, I made $960. And this is the net P&L. I can also filter it by the gross P&L. So here's the gross P&L. It makes the number look a little bit more impressive. Thursday, again, $973. Monday, I made $350. And that's probably due to me buying on a Friday, closing out on Monday. Another strategy that I talked about in my previous videos. Here's Wednesday, I make $111. Tuesday, $69. $69 mostly stem from me selling covered calls or put options. $38 is probably the same thing. A lot of time when I see a low dollar amount, I don't think I actually trade it. It's more so me collecting almost like dividends, right? I sell to open and buy to close, those kind of strategy that still kind of help me make some profit, but not enough to brag about. Average winning trade was $80.26. Average daily volume, 366 quantity. Total P&L, $1,364.45. Based on my swing trading strategy, I've also run codes to provide insights to see if it makes sense to trade on a Friday or not. So this is one of the functions I ran in my previous videos. This is saying, give me the total gains for NVDX from 2023 up until the current time of 2024. Compare the previous closing price versus current closing price. So meaning Monday is comparing the previous Friday's closing versus Monday closing price. On average, it looks like for NVDX, Tuesday gains the most. Historically, if I were to sell on Tuesday, I'll end up gaining the most. Friday appears to have the lowest gains. So basically, from Thursday closing to Friday's closing, NVDX resulted in a negative 0.67 gains. And that's actually one of the reasons why I purchased some NVDX shares on Friday. So according to the stats, I may sell on Monday or possibly Tuesday. These are the best two scenarios based on historical data. Of course, historical data does not reflect current or future data. But that doesn't mean that history will not repeat itself. In some cases, history does repeat itself. That's why I'm using analytics. It's better for me to use analytics than flipping a coin. Let's put it that way. If anyone wants me to run codes for other tickers, maybe you want me to analyze certain things, comment below. So here's another function I run on a weekly basis. This one involves stock metric. First parameter is the ticker. The next three parameters are the days that I want to calculate these metrics. So I have 50 days, 20 days, and 10 days. So the first output I have here, it tells me what is the earliest stock price I loaded for this ticker. So I have loaded January 2nd, 2024. The last period was on November 21st, 2024. So this verified I have data loaded into my database. The second screen I have here tells me the Yahoo stock price I've imported to make sure, everything looks good, there's no red flags. And then the third output here gives me an overall level. Where is this stock trending at? Within 50 days for NVDX, there were a total of 27 bear days versus 23 bull days. To calculate the bear and bull days, I took the closing price minus the opening price. If the closing price closed higher than the opening price, then to me, I consider it as a bull day. So it basically sums up the past 50 days, and then similar metric for the past 20 days, and then similar metric for the past 10 days. So just by looking at this, this tells me that it looks like NVDX overall had more bear days than bull days. This last output is where it provides the best insights for me. So a lot of times when I set up these dollar cost average, I'm not really sure how much dollar amount can a ticker move. And that's where this insight comes in play. So for example, this output tells me within the past 50 days, NVDX had 32 occurrences where the dollar amount within that day changes anywhere between $0 up to $1. That was the most common occurrences within the past 50 days. The second most common scenario was $1.01 up to $2. So there were 16 days where this scenario occurred, where NVDX changed between $1.01 to $2. And then there was one day where it changed as much as $2 to $3, and one day changed as much as $3 to $4. Now, of course, 50 days, you might say, well, you're including too many days. That doesn't count. Well, let's look at more recent period. That's why I have 20 days here. Within the past 20 days is also giving us the same output. Let's look at the most recent 10 days. The past 10 days, it looks like there's more recent occurrences between $1 and $2. And that's because the NVIDIA earnings just came out, and that boosts up their NVDX ticker price. Because the NVIDIA earnings was better than expected, it boosted up NVIDIA stock price, also boosts up their leveraged ETF. That's why the $1 to $2 range has a higher occurrences than the $0 to $1. If NVIDIA continues to go up, then I can only speculate that it will continue to have $1 to $2 price movement on a daily basis. So having said that, that's how I was able to come up with these numbers. That's the reason why I use 50 cents decrement. The most common occurrences for NVDX is $0 to $1, and just recently now is $1 to $2. Apparently I made most of my profit based on ticker price between $10 to $20. And then the second most profitable one is under $2. It's probably from closing my options, $450. Next, let's look at the instruments. For instrument for this week, NVDX was my number one moneymaker. Netted over $1,000. SOXL, $140. SPY-U, $91. ASTS, $42. SoundHound, $30. TSMX, $14. FBL is leverage ETF for Facebook, $5. AVL, leverage ETF for Broadcom, is $2. Performance by volume traded. So apparently I did the best when I traded a larger share size, 1,000 to 2,000 shares. There we go. So here's some key metrics. For November 18th through November 22nd, average hold time was about 8 days and 7 hours. So the hours and minutes are probably not correct because Fidelity doesn't have a timestamp, but the days is correct. So according to this, my average hold time was about 8 days. Average hold time winning trades, 8 days. Average hold time losing trades, not applicable. Average trade P&L is $29.66. Here's my daily gross cumulative P&L. $0 from the 17th, and I made up to $1,300 by the end of this week. I highly recommend Tradezella for those who are seriously trading. If some of you guys are casual traders, you probably don't need it because it does cost money. I'm not sure if it's going to justify like 30 something dollars a month to do your trade journal. And this is assuming that you trade a lot too, you know. I started using this before. You know, I don't think it was worth it because I've only done trading maybe 1 or 2 times a week. But now with more capital and more knowledge, I seem to have trades just about every day. And a lot of my trades are more like buy and hold for X amount of days. You know, based on this week, apparently I held it for 8 days on average before I took profit. So, you know, this is one of my swing trading strategy. I use Tradezella to provide insights as well as coding via Python and SQL to provide more insights, provide more confirmations before I get it on a trade. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. Talk to you guys next time. Peace.